Welcome to the Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals AI-901 Question Bank series. In this video, I've got 10 exam-style practice questions lined up for you, covering the kind of AI concepts and capabilities, generative AI, Microsoft Foundry, prompt engineering, and responsible AI scenarios you'll see on the real AI-901 exam. Each question comes with the correct answer and a full explanation, including why the wrong options are wrong. Here's how to get the most out of this. When a question appears, pause the video, pick your answer, then hit play to check yourself. Ready? Let's dive in. Question 21. A design tool can both describe what's in an uploaded photo and generate a brand new image from a text description. Which two capabilities are being combined? The correct answer is A, computer vision and image generation models. Computer vision interprets the content of existing images, while image generation models create new images from a text description. Now, why the other options are wrong? Entity detection and clustering is incorrect. Entity detection and clustering are text ML techniques unrelated to visual description or image creation. OCR and regression is incorrect. OCR reads text from images, and regression predicts numeric values. Neither describes or generates images. Object detection and speech synthesis is incorrect. Speech synthesis converts text to audio and is not involved in describing or generating images. Question 22. When building a generative AI app in Microsoft Foundry, what is the purpose of a system prompt compared to a user prompt? The correct answer is B. The system prompt sets the model's persistent role, tone, and behavior. The user prompt carries each turn's specific input. A system prompt establishes the model's persistent role, tone, and guardrails for the conversation, while the user prompt supplies the specific input for each turn. Now, why the other options are wrong? The system prompt is stored only in the database and never sent to the model, is incorrect. A system prompt is sent to the model as part of the request. It is not merely stored and withheld. The system prompt is spoken aloud by text-to-speech. The user prompt is always in a different language. Is incorrect. System prompts are text instructions sent to the model, not audio, and language is unrelated to the distinction. There is no difference. Both are sent identically to the model. Is incorrect. System and user prompts serve distinct purposes and are treated differently by the model. Question 23. Which practice most improves the quality of responses from a generative model in Foundry's chat playground? The correct answer is C, giving the model specific context, constraints, and an example of the desired output format. Providing specific context, constraints, and an example of the desired format helps the model produce more accurate, useful responses. Now, why the other options are wrong? Avoiding any mention of the desired output format is incorrect. Specifying the desired output format generally improves, not worsens, response quality. Sending only single words with no punctuation is incorrect. Single-word prompts with no context give the model very little to work with and usually produce poor results. Keeping prompts as vague as possible so the model has full freedom is incorrect. Vague prompts typically produce less useful, less predictable output. Question 24. After a developer deploys a model from the catalog in the Microsoft Foundry portal, where do they land to immediately test it with sample prompts? The correct answer is D, the model's playground. After deploying a model in the Foundry portal, you land on its playground, a web interface for interacting with the model in real time. Now, why the other options are wrong? The billing dashboard is incorrect. The billing dashboard shows cost information, not a place to test prompts. The virtual network peering page is incorrect. Virtual network peering configures network connectivity and is unrelated to testing a deployed model. The Azure DNS Zone Editor is incorrect. The DNS Zone Editor manages domain name records and has nothing to do with testing a model. Question 25. What is the purpose of the model catalog in the Microsoft Foundry portal? The correct answer is A. To browse, compare, and deploy foundation models from Microsoft, OpenAI, and other providers. The model catalog lets developers browse, compare, and deploy foundation models from Microsoft, OpenAI, and other providers, including open-source options. Now, why the other options are wrong? To edit spreadsheet formulas is incorrect. Editing spreadsheet formulas has nothing to do with browsing or deploying models. To manage employee email distribution lists is incorrect. Managing distribution lists is an email administration task unrelated to the model catalog. To configure firewall rules for a virtual network is incorrect. Firewall rules are a networking concern, unrelated to the model catalog. Question 26. A developer wants to write a small Python app that sends chat messages to a deployed Foundry model and prints the model's reply, using Microsoft's currently recommended chat completions approach. Which client should they use? The correct answer is B. The OpenAI SDK's chat completions client, obtained through the Foundry project client. Microsoft Foundry's current guidance is to use the stable OpenAI SDK for chat completions, typically obtained via the Foundry project client rather than the older, deprecated Azure AI Inference Beta SDK. Now, why the other options are wrong? A DNS resolver client is incorrect. A DNS resolver client looks up domain names and has nothing to do with chat completions. A virtual machine SSH client is incorrect. An SSH client connects to a virtual machine's shell and is unrelated to calling a model. An Azure Storage Blob client is incorrect. A blob client reads and writes blob storage. It does not send chat messages to a model. Question 27. Which Foundry SDK component lets a Python application connect to a Foundry project endpoint and from there obtain an authenticated client to run chat, evaluation, or file operations? The correct answer is C. AI Project Client from the Azure AI Projects package. AI Project Client from the Azure AI Projects package connects to a project endpoint using a credential and can hand back authenticated clients for chat, evaluation, and other operations. Now, why the other options are wrong? An OpenPyYXL workbook object is incorrect. OpenPyYXL reads and writes Excel workbooks and has no relationship to Foundry projects. The Azure Cost Management API is incorrect. The Cost Management API reports on Azure spending and is unrelated to connecting to a project. A Python CSV renderer object is incorrect. CSV.reddit parses CSV files locally and has no connection to a Foundry project. Question 28. When creating a single-agent solution in the Foundry portal, what three things does a developer typically configure for the agent before testing it? The correct answer is D. Instructions for the agent, the model it uses, and any tools it can call. In the Foundry portal, you define an agent's instructions, choose its underlying model, and attach any tools it should be able to call. Then test it in the agent playground. Now, why the other options are wrong? A virtual machine size, a region, and an availability zone is incorrect. VM size, region, and availability zone are compute deployment settings, not agent configuration. A billing alert, a support ticket, and a service request is incorrect. Billing alerts and support tickets are unrelated to configuring an agent's behavior. A storage account, a DNS zone, and a load balancer is incorrect. Storage accounts, DNS zones, and load balancers are infrastructure resources, not agent configuration. Question 29. What is the key difference between a Foundry prompt agent and a Foundry hosted agent? The correct answer is A. A prompt agent is declaratively defined with instructions and tools and run by Foundry. A hosted agent is custom code packaged into a container that Foundry runs on a managed endpoint. A prompt agent is configured declaratively, instructions, model, tools, and hosted entirely by Foundry, while a hosted agent is custom application code packaged as a container that Foundry runs on a managed endpoint. Now, why the other options are wrong. A prompt agent can only process images. A hosted agent can only process text. Is incorrect. The distinction is about how the agent is built and run, not about input modality restrictions. There is no difference. The terms are interchangeable. Is incorrect. The two agent types differ meaningfully in how they are built, deployed, and managed. A hosted agent cannot use any tools, while a prompt agent must use at least 10 tools. Is incorrect. Tool usage is not restricted this way for either agent type. Question 30. After testing an agent in the Foundry portal's Agent Playground, a developer wants end users to interact with it from a simple web page. What is the most direct next step? The correct answer is B. Build a lightweight client application that connects to the agent's endpoint or thread to send and receive messages. A lightweight client application connects to the agent's endpoint or conversation thread, sending user messages and displaying the agent's responses, making the agent usable outside the portal. Now, why the other options are wrong. Delete the agent and start a new Azure subscription is incorrect. Deleting the agent would remove the work already done and does not enable end-user access. Export the agent configuration to a printed PDF only is incorrect. A printed PDF is not an interactive way for users to converse with an agent. Manually copy each response into the web page by hand is incorrect. Manually copying responses does not scale and defeats the purpose of an automated agent. And that's a wrap on this video. Nice work getting through those 10 questions. If this helped, you're going to want the complete set, all 300 exam-style questions, with full explanations across both AI-901 skill areas, are available in my Udemy course, Microsoft Azure AI Fundamentals, AI-901, 6 practice exams. The link is in the description below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video, where I'll walk you through 10 more questions. See you in the next video.